Hey, why does Santa walk funny?
No idea.
He has a giant sack. Um, okay, only a few more, Kirby.
That's right. Promo UPFront. Party in the pit. The bullets. A full podcast.
Here comes Kirby Claus. Here comes Kirby Claus. Right down Kirby Claus Lane. You know what? That's how we start off every Promo Front podcast
Sure.
before the big Christmas holiday. So why should this year be any different? Hell, I don't know. It's episode number 233 of the Promo Upfront podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me is the CEO of the new CEO, the one and only Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, you look resplendent in your vest today.
Right?
I am also wearing a vest today. We are simpatico. How
Right?
the heck are you?
I'm doing well, man. It's funny. You get running as fast as you can toward the end of the year. And this is about the time where I kind of look up and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, it's almost Christmas. And so, like, I kind of had one of those moments this afternoon. And I'm excited. I'm excited to kind of hit that holiday season, buddy. How about you?
Yeah, this week's been nuts. This week has been the longest month of my life. It has just been real busy, and I know you and I both don't really care for the term busy. It is absolutely applicable here.
Yeah,
When you have a number of clients who need things at the last minute,
sure.
and you want to do everything you can to accommodate them, it is very difficult to say no.
Yeah.
And so I have been just putting in a lot of hours, which is never a complaint, but I'm absolutely looking forward to a wee bit of downtime as we get
Little
closer.
eggnog.
They'll be knocking. They'll be knocking. But this, as I had some free time to think this week, all 4 minutes of it, it got me to thinking, Kirby,
Love
as
it.
things often do. Like I said, we're hurdling toward the end of the year, and it's hard to believe. I mean, Kirby, 2 weeks from today will be January 3rd as we drop this podcast.
Wow.
And then right after that, we're going to be in Las Vegas for PPAI Expo, and well, I mean, everybody's going to be there, but not everyone, Kirby, and
Okay.
which I find honestly very odd. I mean, can you imagine the FOMO you'd feel and you'd have if you didn't go to PPAI Expo? Well, thanks to our good pals over at PPAI Media, neither one of us have to imagine FOMO anymore if you don't attend because they've just published 9 reasons why you can't miss Expo in 2025. So with apologies to David Letterman in a top 10 list,
Okay.
let's go through them real quick.
Okay.
Number 9, the pitch debuts new judges. That's right, the
Mm.
mashup between the Shark Tank and The Voice is back with brand new judges. Number 8, Conference Day, which is the newly named Education Day,
Love it.
is the crash course you didn't know you needed. This year's best educational sessions take place on Monday, January 13th at the PPAI conference. Kirby, what comes after number 8? That's number 7. Number 7, Kirby, great keynote speakers. The former chief growth evangelist at Salesforce will be talking about driving growth through employee and customer alignment. And the former CEO of the Martin Agency has a talk titled, and I'm really interested in this one, The Value of Being Interesting. So some really
Mm.
cool keynotes there. Number 6, Kirby, Sky Lounge View of Vegas. The opening
Yeah.
reception is going to be held at Skyfall Panoramic Bar and Lounge Monday night after the Expo conference. You and I had dinner there
It
last
was
year during
awesome.
the award ceremony. Number 5, inclusion through camaraderie. There are deliberate meetups at the famous Promo and Pints bar space. There's a DEI meetup, women, emerging leaders, a whole bunch of meetups there. Number 4, we're in the top 4, Kirby. That's what happens when you have a list and you count down, you get to a top 4. And we have actually just gotten there. Top 4. Number 4, products galore over I have not done the math on this, but by my estimation, 17 billion square miles of promotional product stuff.
I
Now,
think
again,
that's it.
that's enough to estimation. Don't quote me on that. But
I
17
think it's pretty
billion
close.
square miles.
Yeah.
I think so too. Number 3, have your life changed, Kirby? That's right. Since no one leaves their office much anymore since COVID, it's a great opportunity to truly connect with distributors, suppliers, and service providers. It's really a great opportunity. And maybe connect with new leadership. Maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. Number
Maybe.
2, Golf for Good, supporting the Promotional Products Education Foundation. There's the Glenn Holt and Fran Ford Memorial Golf Tournament on Monday. Last year, they raised over $40,000 to
Wow.
fund those great scholarships for kids of promo people. And number 1, Kirby, the number 1 reason you would have FOMO if you didn't go. Thank you for the very, very appropriate drum roll. Mini golf for kicks. That's right. The PPAI Expo party on Wednesday night is the biggest celebration in promo this year. It's at Swingers in Mandalay Bay. It's a cutting edge mini golf haven with great food, fantastic drinks, and an uber cool vibe that makes you feel like you've been transported to an English garden. Now, Kirby, can you imagine not going to Expo after hearing those 9 reasons?
Yeah, I can't. The reason that I know that I can't imagine it is because I'm going, right? Like I'm signed up because I don't want to miss all of the things that the expo has to offer. It's become such a tradition. I've actually been talking to a lot of people who are kind of new
Yeah.
to owning their business, all that sort of thing. And I'm like, you gotta go to expo. So I think it's going to be a really fun time this year. I'm looking forward to it.
It will be Kirby as normally. I couldn't agree more. Kids, don't sleep on this. Register now and book your trip to the PPA Expo 2025. Do it now. Just pause the podcast. This isn't live. You can actually pause it and come back to it. So
Yeah.
Kirby and I invite you to pause, go register for Expo, come on back. All you gotta do is go to ppai.org/expo. You're in. You register. Boom, you go. All right, Kirby, this is a podcast sponsored by Promotional Products Association International, and so therefore it's going to be Promotional Products Association International heavy.
Yep.
Now, we all know and kind of have been waiting to see what leadership might look like coming into the new year. Dale Denham was the president and CEO of PPAI. And left, I think it was July, maybe it was August, and he's got a new job now
Mhm.
at in the industry on a
Yep.
technology services provider. So that's going to be
Yep.
awesome for him. Dawn Olt, who was a former chair of the board, and I worked with her extensively at Halo, took over in an interim role and did a wonderful job shepherding, I think, the association through some always uncertain times when you don't know who the long-term leader is going to be. But today, as we're recording this, they have announced that we have a new president and CEO of PPAI. Maybe it might just be CEO. I don't know if it's president as well. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. A
Yep.
new leader. His name
President
is
and
Drew.
CEO. President,
Okay, so I
sorry.
was right. Good. All right. So Drew Holmgren is currently, or I guess he just resigned. Hey, if you haven't told him yet, you might want to. He is the former chief experience officer at MPI, Meeting Planning International Association. So he comes from an association background,
Yep.
has extensive experience in marketing, creative, membership, volunteers, events. He was very involved in DEI over at MPI. Man, we love our acronyms in our industry.
We do.
His first day is going to be January 10th, 2025. That's going to be a big day.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really big day. Big day. And he's also based in Dallas. Other than that, I don't know a whole lot. So Kirby, I have some thoughts and things, but if you would like to go, go.
Yeah. So, I think we knew that this was coming and we're kind of waiting anxiously to hear who it was going to be. And I think that one of my thoughts was, if it's not somebody that I'm familiar with, I'm not going to have a lot to say about it. That being said, PPAI has done a release, and I did try to do my homework and read about this, and a couple things that did spring out at me. So he joins the association from the Meetings Professional International. So MPI is what that stands for. So it's the largest association for meeting and events professionals. And he was the chief experience officer. So I think those things come together. The reality of it is our industry is about branded merch, but one of the ways that the association feeds our industry, obviously one of them is through advocacy, but the other way is through events. It is through setting up trade shows. It is through helping the regionals do trade shows. It's doing so the idea of having an extensive event background, and then the chief experience officer, like creating experiences around events is what makes events elevate.
Yeah.
And so I saw that and it stuck out to me, and I was like, okay, that I could see where that certainly ties in. And so that was probably the biggest thing. I love the idea that he has served on the DEI sort of movement in that particular organization. Fact of the matter is, I'll be the first to say it. It's a white guy. So
Yeah.
that is
Little
something.
irony there, but
Yeah, right. And again, I'm not
not in a
taking
bad
shots.
way.
I don't
Just
know the guy, but
no, no, not at
but
all.
it is something that I think that many people were wondering the direction it would go. So,
Sure.
but I will say that, the board in place, the
Mhm.
Andrew Spellmans, having Denise Taschereau as a part of this sort of gives me, I don't know, I value her opinion, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the Danny Rosens of the world make me think that they have given thought to this. And the idea that they have association, I think both you and I off camera said that we thought that that might make sense to have someone with an
Yeah.
association background
I
again.
think, yeah. I
And
think we
so
said it on camera as
did we?
well. I
Did
mean,
we?
I know I
Yeah.
did. I
We,
know because I was felt pretty strongly about that.
yeah. So overall, I feel good. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's great. And just to backtrack, the DEI, I do like the fact that he's got some DEI background.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, the irony isn't lost on me. 15 years ago, I worked for a very large promotional or office products company running their promotional products division. They were fully woman and minority owned, and I met almost exclusively with diversity managers. And the irony wasn't lost on me then either. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean because he's a white guy,
Yeah. Great
it
point.
doesn't mean he doesn't understand DEI and how to make that a priority. One of the things that really jumped out at
Good point.
me for this hire is I think he's really, it sounds like, just again, folks, we got the press release 15 minutes before we got
Literally.
on the air. I mean, we dropped this thing Friday morning. We're dropping it in like 14 hours.
Yeah.
So this is really fresh for us too.
Yep.
But what I took away from it seems like there's going to be a renewed focus on making sure that promotional products are looked at as an advertising medium. And I think that's because, his as chief experience officer, that's kind of a marketing title. And it does sound like he has a lot of experience in that. I'm excited for that. I don't know. I'm sure he's great. I'm sure I know. I always assume that the board in place, whether Andrew Spellman's leading it, whether it was Denise Taschereau, whether it's Jane Rosen, whomever is leading the board and the people on the board, I assume without question, without fail, that they are doing what they think is best for the industry. So if they think this is the best hire for the industry, I'm going to support that.
Yeah.
I'd be lying, though, if I didn't say I was disappointed because I felt like it was an opportunity to maybe get some diversity in that role. That's not to say this isn't the right guy. I'm assuming
Yeah.
it is because that's I think there were some really great candidates, at least the ones I was aware of, and you're always disappointed when there's an embarrassment of riches to choose from,
Yeah.
to do that. So I look forward to meeting him. His
Yeah.
face is going to be plastered on the podcast cover tomorrow. So there you
Yeah, I love
go.
it. I tell you,
But
one of the things you just said though, it struck me, Bill. It got me to thinking.
as things often do.
Right. But when you said, "Hey, I was a white male leading an organization," it doesn't mean you're deaf to that. I thought that was a really good
Yeah.
point. And I think that sometimes you and I are really trying to be so cognizant of this that we don't
Yeah,
want to
I
go
wanna get
too
yelled
far.
at.
Right. Well, but we also want to be right. We want to be on the right side of history on that. So I think that us being cognizant of it is important, but understanding that you want to hire the best person regardless. And that's the whole
I
point.
think, yeah, absolutely. I think anytime someone takes on a new role, and there has been a thorough vetting process, which I assume there, again, I'm making all these assumptions, but I would be willing to bank on these.
Yeah.
A thorough vetting process, a thorough interview process. I am sure that the board feels that Drew is the best person for the job. I take that at face value.
Yep.
And so I think everybody in a new role deserves a chance, to succeed, deserves a chance to do, implement their style and do the things they want to do and take the organization and even more accurately, even the industry in the direction he feels it should go. I think it was said in the press release that the board felt that his vision for what PPAI needs to be in the coming years, they felt that was completely aligned with what the board wants. And the board is our representative at the table.
And I love the timing, by the way. I think that's really
Yeah.
cool that he starts January 10th and here we come. So if you talk
Yeah.
about trial by fire, I
Well,
wish him the best.
Well, I think what's great about it is they're not waiting till after Expo because I think if you don't understand this industry, you don't come from this industry, I don't think you truly understand how the industry works until you go to Expo or
Yeah,
maybe even an ASI show. But Expo is that the biggest one. I think he's going to be drinking from a fire hose,
sure.
and he's going to be there. So I'm looking forward to
This will be fun.
hopefully meeting him. Hey Kirby, like I said, we're just a couple weeks away from 2025. Heck, we're 13 days, 12 days away from 2025, and that's the official kickoff of trade show season. Our good pals over at Hirsch, the supplier with the best retail brands, amazing decoration. They want to invite everyone to visit them at ASI Orlando in booth 323. And if you're going to the aforementioned PPAI Expo, booth number 2427, you get to see all the fantastic brands you've come to know and love, but they also will introduce you to the greatness that is SodaStream. That's
Nice.
right. The sparkling water maker that makes all manner of carbonated beverages has a home at Hearst. So booth 323 in Orlando, booth 2427 in Las Vegas, and see how Hearst can help you make 2025 one to remember. All right, Kirby, do you
Yeah.
have a palate cleansing topic for us or no? Or
I
just
don't
a
know if it's
topic?
palate cleansing. We talked about it. This will make it a little bit industry
Yeah.
heavy, using the choice of words twice. So I don't know if you saw this, but there was an announcement this week that Knoss Apparel has decided to shut down at the end of this year. Elson
Yeah.
Young and his whole group and team there, and I am sad to see. I liked what they were doing over at Knoss, and I wanted to sort of acknowledge how
Yeah.
hard it is to start something new in any industry, I'm sure, but certainly in this industry, apparel, I'm sure is even exceptionally hard because there's so many
Oh,
big players in that space and it's hard to get a thing. And so
yeah.
I just wanted to acknowledge and show my admiration for the effort. I think that
Yeah.
as a person who has started businesses that have not worked, that have failed,
Hmm.
it is frustrating and painful, but also such a great learning experience. Again, I don't know that there's a ton to say on this, but I'd love to hear your take. But I just wanted to acknowledge them and just say, sometimes it doesn't work, but it doesn't mean it was a failure. So
Look, failure is a relative term.
yeah,
I always say I don't fail, I always learn.
right, exactly.
And I hate to see that they're closing too, and not sure if it was a pricing. What was the big bugaboo? Was it pricing? I don't think it was quality. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just, hey, it's a tough segment in our market to break into. I
Mhm,
know that Jenna Quaranta was there and worked her tail off, and
mhm.
ownership did too. And sometimes, like you said, things just don't work.
Right.
I always find it funny though when people like that. I saw the post. I think it was ASI that reported it. And people are like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it!" I really was hoping to order from them. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, well then, why didn't you?
Yeah.
I guess that's my thing is okay. If I understand we're all anytime a business fails or has to close their doors, I feel bad. I've started businesses. I've got Brandivate. I got Promocations. I'm not to the extent you have for sure, but I get that. So a little part of me dies with that company. I feel
Yeah.
bad for them. I do because I know the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. By the same token, sometimes people who weren't involved over lament their
Yes,
loss.
I agree.
And it's just like, okay, I get it because I'm sad too, and it stinks, and I hate it for anybody involved and people who were using them, but they weren't being used enough, and that stinks. It
Yeah.
stinks. There's nothing good to say about it. You learn a little bit and
Yeah.
you move on. But yeah, it is a bummer. It is always a bummer, especially when someone is trying to do something different like they were.
Yeah, and the one thing I would say is during again, I'll just quickly tie it. So, we
Yeah.
started a brewery, we had it for a couple 3 years,
Mhm.
and closing that down was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like it was a long time where I wasn't sleeping and in that moment, it's so hard. But then afterwards, like now, it's so funny
The
because
relief.
I have spent well, yeah, that's a great point. It was a relief. Like that, once I made the decision, it was like, okay, now I know how to go forward, whatever.
Yeah.
But in the hindsight, if I were ever to start a brewery again, I've spent so much time thinking about what I would have done different and the lessons that I've learned. I can tell you almost off the top of my head what I would do different. And so sometimes those lessons are actually super valuable. It doesn't feel that way in the moment, but that's been
Look,
my experience.
you look at anybody who we hold up on that Mount Rushmore of success, whether it's Steve Jobs, Mark Cuban, Jeff Bezos, they've all had significant failures and setbacks. So,
Yeah.
and again, heart goes out to the folks at
Yeah.
Knoss. It's really a bummer.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Kirby ASI. This is absolutely the Promo Upfront podcast today. ASI has released their 2024 product of the year. Did you see this,
Ooh, I
Kirby?
did not. I can't wait to hear about this.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, if you wouldn't mind, please brace for impact. Okay. Thank you. Yard signs, Kirby. Yard signs is the product of the year. I'm going
All
to read a
right.
couple things and then let's chit chat about it. ASI research found that ESP searches for yard signs increased 23% this election cycle compared to 2016, so 8 years ago. Um, Electoral studies show that there was a 1.7% increase in vote share that is created by effective political signage. So, Kirby, when you look back, let's say in 10 years, and someone says, "Hey, Kirby, what was the product of the year in the branded merchandise industry in 2024?" Is it going to be yard signs? Do you think it should be yard signs? What say you, Kirby Hasseman?
Yeah, I don't think that you will look back. Again, the yard signs obviously is not a sexy product, but I do understand the moment that
It depends what you print on it,
yeah,
Kirby.
yeah, okay. Uh, I haven't seen that yard sign. Like I've never seen that one. But I will say the moment you said it, I was like, oh, this election season was contentious on so many levels. And I will say that at least in my area, and in transparency, I'm a very Republican area. Like it is hardcore Republican area. But I one of the things that was interesting is we always see that side of the
Yeah.
of the political spectrum.
Spectrum.
Yeah, but there was a lot on the other side too. I guess I did see more yard signs this year than I historically see.
Yeah.
So in that way, I mean, wouldn't have any numbers to back that up. The other thing it tells me is that there weren't any other products that knocked our socks off.
Yeah.
So those are, I guess, the two things that popped into my head.
Okay. I love it and I hate this pick. I love it because they were ubiquitous. I saw more yard signs this election cycle than I can ever remember.
Yeah.
And not just national, but also state and local.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes sense. I hate it. And also love it because I also love it because it's not a traditional promotional product. It's not what we
Yeah, I agree with
normally
that.
think of. We don't, and shame on all of us for not making sure we include signage and things like that in our offerings. I know you do,
Yep.
but I'd say the vast majority does not. Here's why I hate it. I know for a fact every distributor I know hates working with political campaigns. And if you don't get them to pay upfront, you will
got it.
never see dime one of that money. But it's not the product that was most profitable for the year 2024. It was the product of the year. And so I actually think it's a smart choice, even though
Yeah.
I think, I never would advocate anybody I work with to focus their efforts on political parties and campaigns,
What's interesting to me
unless you're
about
getting
that,
paid up front.
well, that's it. And what's interesting is when I talk to other distributors and I say, oh, you can totally ask them to pay up front. And when
Yeah.
they go, oh, really? And I'm like, oh yeah, no radio spot is going on the air, no TV spot is going on the
Nope.
air. They're all so the cool thing about that, there's a lot of industries where asking them to pay up front is somehow offensive. Ironically, political's not. They like most politicals like, yeah, absolutely. How much am I going to owe you? So as long as you know that in advance, waiting for them after they lose, not a great strategy.
No, all you need to know, seriously, you can work with political campaigns just like what Kirby was saying. Realize that they are basically small, temporary companies. They have a set number of dollars, and once those dollars are gone, that's it.
Yeah,
It's gone. Bingo, bango, bongo. Get paid up front. Get paid up front.
I love
All right, Kirby. I know you're a fan of Santa Claus. I know
Yeah.
you love Santa.
I do.
I know you love some fun little dad jokes. You know what? Let's have just a little bit of fun. Do you mind if I tell a few jokes just to usher in the holiday season. We got
I
people
couldn't be
celebrating
more excited.
Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and so many things. New Year's coming up. So Santa is a universal symbol for fun and innocence and good. Let's have a little fun with some Santa dad jokes, shall
Okay,
we?
I'm
So
in.
I'm gonna ask you the joke, and maybe you know the answer. If you don't, I'll give you the answer. Is that fair enough? There's no right or
Uh,
wrong answer here. I mean, you probably don't know the answers.
I
All
don't.
right, you ready?
Yeah, can't wait.
Why don't you ever see Santa in a hospital, Kirby?
Why, Bill?
He has private elf care. Okay, see where we're going here?
I like it. That's pretty good. Okay.
This might be Shannon Laredo. This might be her favorite segment ever. She loves the dad joke. All right,
She does.
Kirby, why is Santa Claus so jolly?
Um, I don't know.
He knows where all the naughty girls live.
I was hoping it was gonna be something like that. That's pretty good.
All right,
He
Kirby,
knows where
why?
Shannon lives.
Whoa, okay.
Just messing.
Whoa. Hey, why does Santa walk funny?
No idea.
He has a giant sack. Um, okay, only a few more, Kirby. I'm glad that you're laughing here, having a good time as you lay out on me, and I have to fill some time. All
Okay,
right,
that's my
Kirby.
favorite one so far. That's my favorite one so far.
Okay. Why was Frosty smiling, Kirby?
Bring it.
He saw the snowblower coming down the road.
This has escalated quickly.
What? I'm 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 sorry, what do you mean?
Oh God, this is gonna be fun. I can't wait to
What
make
do you mean?
these the open.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Hey, what do female reindeer do when Santa takes the males out to guide his sleigh?
I don't know.
Pretty tame stuff. They just go into town and blow a couple of bucks. Um, okay, two more. Two more, Kirby. Are you enjoying this so far?
This is my
Is this
favorite
putting
one so far. Yeah, I love it.
is this putting you in the holiday spirit?
It's
Because
totally the
it
holiday
sure is
spirit.
me.
Yeah,
All right, Kirby.
PG-13 for sure.
All right. If you have a snowball in your left hand, and then in your right hand you also have a snowball, what do you have?
Okay, I actually think I know this one.
Okay.
A snowman's full attention.
No. Yes. Frosty's full attention. Very good. Very nice.
Okay, sorry.
All right. And then the last one, Kirby, as we end on a little more innocent note. Do you ever wonder why Santa doesn't have kids?
Why?
Yeah, he only comes once a year, but also PPAI Expo only comes around once a year. And it's important to remember that, hey, if you haven't registered, head over to ppai.org/expo and register. You don't want to be one of those 9 reasons we listed at the top of the podcast that you have FOMO while the rest of us are experiencing the best networking, the best merchandise, the best everything, the party, the education, you name it, they've got it. So on behalf of Kirby and me, we hope to see you over at PPAI Expo. And Kirby, the next time I talk to you, it will be after Christmas. I wish you, Amy, and the girls and the extended family a very Merry Christmas and hope that Santa brings you everything you are hungry for when he comes. So I really hope you have a great Christmas.
You too.